What if your summer reading list could live on your needles? I dyed 3 colorways inspired by the covers of 3 brand new beach reads. And today I'm going to show you how a book cover turns into yarn. Welcome back, friends. My name is Melissa. I'm the dyer behind Rising Tide Fiber Company. If you are new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. So, though I am living in a sweater today because it is like in the upper 50s, I think, here in Maryland. Earlier in the week, we were in the 90s and we were all beginning to feel the summer heat. It is a drearier, overcast day. But today I am inspired to share with you what I've been curating or creating out in the dye studio. So today I have 3 beach reads that are either out or coming out this summer, and they have inspired my summer reading book club. This is something that I did for many, many years, and I took a few summers off the last couple of years, but there are some beautiful covers that are coming out this year, and I really was inspired to create new colorways. So I'm going to show you the books, talk about them, give you a brief little synopsis on what they're about, show you the colorway that I created, and then I have some pattern inspiration that I would love to see these colors knit up in. The first book that I've chosen actually came out in May, and it was a May Book of the Month pick, and that is Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune. I have, I think, read all of her books that she has come out with in the last several summers. So I was really excited and inspired by this beautiful cover. I was inspired because gray is one of my favorite neutrals. Purple and pinks are some of my favorite colors, pink particularly to dye. So let's dive into what this book is about. So this book, we're following our 2 characters, Frankie and George, and they have been best friends since they were children. But their bond is tested when Frankie's fiance, Nate, leaves her at the altar. And months later, George proposes this really unconventional solution. He thinks that they should go on her non-refundable honeymoon to Tofino. It's supposed to be a coastal town off of Vancouver Island. So what's meant to be a chance for her to heal and for them to reconnect as friends turns into a week of a lot of emotional revelations. There's some feelings that become rekindled and the possibility for the 2 of them to have a romantic future. So I love this book color. Let's see what it looks like when I transferred it onto yarn, or my take. I did leave out the yellow. I really was playing with the grays, the pinks, and the purples. And so this is what it looks like on my 100% superwash DK. And then this is the 75-25 superwash merino nylon base. So DK and fingering. As you can see, I really played around with the grays, the pinks, and the purples. That's really where my inspiration lies. And as a swatch, I have knit up a few swatches. And so this is what this colorway looks like knit up in my little swatch. Beautiful, right? If I do say so myself. So that is colorway number 1. The next book that I picked for, I guess you could say, my July colorway is Love You More by Emily Giffin. This one is set to release on July 7th. This is this author's 13th novel. I have read everything that she has written. She is one of my favorite authors. This story is going to follow Billy, and she is a successful doctor. She lives in New York City. She's newly engaged, And then, lo and behold, her first love, Mick, walks back into her life. And he has some urgent news. So this novel is supposed to explore a lot of different themes. That is one of the things she is kind of known for. This one is obviously going to explore the theme of past love, identity, and the difficult choices that we have to make sometimes in life. And apparently this one, instead of staying set in New York City, is going to include a backdrop that returns her to a small hometown somewhere in Wisconsin. So the cover is stunning. Let's take a look at how that translated, or how I translated it in my dye pans. So again, I have samples of my 100% superwash merino on DK and the 75-25 on fingering. I am in love with just how summery and bright this colorway came out. I have the hints of the yellows. I have those hints of chartreuse. I can't really ever say that word. The pinks, the corals. I'm in love with this colorway. I would love to see this probably in a sweater if you know me. So let's take a look at the swatch. The swatch, again, is knitted. I think it is beautiful. Again, the yellow, the chartreuse, the pinks, the purples, it's all there. So beautiful. And it does even kind of combine nicely with the purple. The third book I picked for technically, I guess, August would be The Romance Revival by Christina Lauren. This book is due to release on July 14th. Now, I will say that I got an advanced reader's copy of this novel. I have started it and it has sucked me in. I am loving it. Christina Lauren is a author duo that writes this. I've struggled to find where one, like if they alternate chapters, I have no idea who's writing what voice. They do a fabulous job. It is so cohesive. This book cover is just beautiful. I will admit it took me a couple sort of renditions of this in the pan to really get what I was looking for, because the yellowish gold and that blue are contrasting colors. So they can sometimes be a little harsh all in one skein, if not kind of melded together in a pleasant way. So let's talk about what this book is about before I just talk about yarn. This novel is following Emery, and she is a scientist. She's kind of a workaholic, and a tragic accident claims her husband, meaning he actually dies. But the research project or clinical work that she's doing, she's able to use that classified research and bring him back to life. Only now, he doesn't have any memory. There's no recollection of their life together. So this story is kind of blending the idea of romance, science fiction, and a lot of emotional depth, as now it appears that Emery is going to have to fight for a second chance at love. I will say that I went into the story a little blind, so you're getting a little bit more than I had. So it was a bit more shell-shocking. I don't think I'm revealing anything. I think I just failed to remember what the premise of the story was before I started reading it. So I was a little bit more taken aback by him passing. This cover, again, is stunning, and I have samples of it up on my 100% superwash merino DK, and then the 75-25 merino nylon. And guys, this came out, again, it took a couple, a couple twirls in the pan before I really came up with one that I loved, but knit up, it is even more spectacular. I really love how the colors have kind of melded together, and it's not quite as brash of contrasting colors. Beautiful. Again, it plays nicely with the peach, but they all play nicely with the purple as well. So I'm pretty excited about these three colorways. I think they would look lovely in a project together. So something like maybe a Jethro cardigan, just where you're combining knitting and crocheting. I just think they play really nicely together, which was the goal. So let's talk about pattern inspiration that I could really foresee being lovely in these particular yarns. So first up, I have the honeycomb scarf. Now, this is a pattern that came out in February of 2025. It is knit up in a worsted weight. You need somewhere between 390 410 yards. So you would need 2 skeins of worsted if you wanted to make this. This is a free pattern, and the scarf is knit from tip to tip. One half you're obviously increasing, the second half you're decreasing, and the stitch is called the honeycomb brioche, and it's supposed to make a fabric that's really lovely to kind of wrap around your neck, and it has an I-cord finishing. So again, 2 skeins of worsted weight yarn. It says it's knit on a US 8, which is a 5mm needle. It has a central depth of 12 inches and a wingspan of 84. So I think that's a really generous size. Again, it's a free pattern. I think it's beautiful. It doesn't have a lot of projects on Ravelry, but the ones that are there are really beautiful. I think this one works well because it is designed to use that brioche tuck stitch is really going to help you with breaking up any kind of patterning. So that really works. The second pattern that I think would look really lovely is the One Love shawl. This is a pattern by Joji Locatelli. It also came out in November of 2025. This one came out as sort of a mystery knit along where we were given clues I want to say we got them like every 10 days or something. This is a 1 skein project. It uses fingering. So you need anywhere between 420 and 440 yards. My 75/25 is 463 yards. So you would have plenty of yardage. You wouldn't have to worry about playing yarn chicken. This pattern retails for $5 US. And it's a crescent shaped shawl. It kind of alternates between feather and fan and garter stitch. So it would be beautiful in any of the 3 colorways. There are over 4,000 patterns or projects over on Ravelry. So again, Joji used a variegated or speckled colorway. So perfect because that garter stitch is going to kind of blend the colors a little bit, and then the feather and fan kind of breaks up, so you won't experience any kind of pooling per se. I don't like pooling, so I try to dye colorways that tend not to pool if we can help it. The next pattern I'm including is the Ruffle Edit by Casey Apple. This one came out this month, May of 2026. It retails for $5 US. It uses sport weight. It uses between 200 and 312 yards. So my sport weight has 328 yards. So again, you wouldn't have to worry about playing any kind of yarn chicken. This is a bandana style project. There are not a ton of projects. It is a newer pattern. There's only about 40, but there are plenty of people that have opted to, but there are some people on there who didn't do it in a solid color, that chose to be a little more whimsical and choose a funner, bright color. I could definitely see it in either of these two colors. If you're looking for something fun, if you're looking for something that's a little more streamlined for your wardrobe, probably the purple and gray, probably a lot. Because of that neutral gray, you might gravitate towards that one. The other pattern that I was looking at, I have two more for you, is the first one is the Flame Fall. And this one came out in September of 2025. It also uses worsted weight. It's by Jenny Noto. And it uses between 350 and 420. So you would need 2 skeins of worsted weight. Mine are, 218, so that's 436. So you'd still have about 16 yards left over. So that should give you plenty of wiggle room. This one is knit on a US 9. So with worsted weight, that's going to go fairly quickly. It's just a textured bandana cowl. It's done in the round. And the really cool thing is it's a little more slimmer in the back. Like, even though she's using worsted weight, she's designed it so that you're not getting a lot of bulk of fabric back here. The majority of your fabric is down in front. It does have German short rows in it to help minimize that bulk and keep the shaping forward and not so much back. It is written in 3 adult sizes, and there are suggestions or notes in the pattern on how you can adjust the various sizes. And then the last pattern is not an accessory pattern. It's actually a t-shirt. It is the Lounge Room Raglan by Amy Schurer. And this one came out in February. This is a fingering weight t-shirt pattern. But again, I think if you want to do something really fun and bright, what is better than a summer t-shirt, right? So it looks like it's a knit on a US 4 with ribbing collar stuff done on a US 3. It comes in 9 sizes. That the finished bust circumference range from a 33.25 inch to a 69.25 inch. It is designed to be graded for bust measurements from 30 to 66. So I'm guessing about 2 to 4 inches of positive ease, depending upon how you prefer your sizing. This pattern does have the option for short sleeves, long sleeves. You can do a curved hem. You can do a straight hem. So there's a lot of options in this pattern. It retails for $10.50 in US dollars. I would love to know, what do you want to make in these gorgeous summer book clubs? As we get closer, I'll be opening up our Discord channels so that every month we can talk about the books. We're going to start June 1st with Our Perfect Storm. In July, we will read Love You More. And in August, we will read The Romance Revival. So I would love to know down below, which color speaks to you the most, and what do you think you would make with it? I'd love for you to like and subscribe to my channel. If you loved this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. And until next time, friends, happy making.